How have you gone on?
Well, not so bad really. It's not as daunting as the intended, because when you read all the literature give you, see all the things that can happen, you automatically think in the worst.
Yeah.
When we got there in good time. Then he had my blood test. Then he had to go down to the centre, which was right down that long corridor, right to the bottom. And in there, booking at the desk, and he would just go around there and sit down. So I went and sat in the waiting room, one or two other people sitting there. And in the unit, there's at least 20 beds all there, and there's these nurses dashing about all the time. But while I was there, because it was over the lunch period, there's a lady come round with a tea trolley. Said, do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a sandwich? So I thought, I'll have what sandwich have we got? She said, we've got ham, this and that. I said, I've got corned beef. I said, oh, is it on whole meal? She says, yeah. So I had a whole meat corned beef sandwich and a cup of tea.
Not overly demanding, is he?
It's like being on holiday.
But I only ate the soft bits, I didn't take the crust, because I didn't want to set my face off.
Right.
Then after a while sitting there, they come and call me through. And of course they set you in a chair, and it's one of these electrically operated ones where you can posture sort of thing. Then there's a thing standing up beside of you with that must be the pump or something on it. And there's a couple of bags of stuff up there. One's a drug, and they said it takes 2 hours. And what they do is shove a cannula in.
Yeah.
You plugged into the drug. And I forget what it was, but there was another entrance into the thing. And she pressed something in there. She says it might go cold. So they were pushing something else in. Then of course the drug started. And you're just sitting there. And after a while, it started. I think, well, right, it's sticky there, I wonder why. And then it wasn't sticky, it was tingling.
Right.
And eventually, it was really, I had to call him over because it was really uncomfortable. And my arm felt real cold, which was what they said could happen. Don't worry, she said, I'll bring you a nice pack. And a heat pad. And she brought me a heat pad and stuck it on. And she says, where's your coat? I says, it's on the walker there. All right, she said, I'll bring you a coat and cover your arm with your coat to try and up the heat. And did that till the end. But it's still funny.
Yeah.
But it's not quite as bad as it was. It's bound to have to take time to go through. And then, while I was in that, doing that, the teacher had come round again, so I had another cup of tea.
What was the stuff they put in your arm?
I don't know what the drug is. We have it down on
It's
paper.
written down somewhere. Zelpox or something.
And then I've got some
Small
tablets. There's some to take if I'm feeling sick, nauseous.
Right.
There's some which I take over the weekend. I think you've got them in your hand. There's just that short supply.
Yeah, and then that's the chemo one.
And that's the one which I take. Is it 2 or 3 times a day?
Yeah, it's actually for 21 days as well.
21 days, yeah.
21 days.
Well, and then of course we've got the appointment to see Dr. Roy.
Yeah.
Is it in a couple of weeks?
So, yeah, 22nd of September, blood test at 3 o'clock and then Dr. Roy at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And on the 25th of September, so 3 days later, same week, you're back again
You're back
for your
in.
next lot
Yeah.
at 1 o'clock,
So unfortunately it's on a blooming Tuesday again.
which is when Dr. Roy's clinics always are.
Yeah, do you know, I've had a word with most of my customers and explained
Yeah.
the situation. When we seen Dr. Roy, 3-4 o'clock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to be there for 3.
What I've said to her is, look, I can cycle. I'm going to cycle if it's in an afternoon. I'll cycle and on the morning. And
Did you apologise for me to your
I
customers?
did, yeah,
You tell them that I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
That's good.
But don't worry about it.
Well, it's nice for them to know that it is appreciated and whatever.
Yeah. In fact, oddly enough, I was talking to Rob last night because Rob, he was had,
Yeah.
and he's been through chemo before, and he says to me, he was quite emphatic about this. He says, look, give me dad give your dad my number. He said if he wants to talk to somebody about chemo, to help support him through it from somebody who's been through it, he said I'm quite happy to chat with him.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, because Sue, Glengarden's Cafe, she's been through chemo and everything, different things, breast cancer, but she was explaining things and saying,
She's very good,
Yeah.
She's nice.
yeah. It's nice, but this is quite uncomfortable at the moment.
Do you need something warm around it?
It might pay to put
Shall we put a little something around
Only
it?
put a jumper on.
and
Will that be too hot? Do you want a jumper on, or will that be too hot on the rest of you?
no, because I've had my sleeve. Maybe just wrap a towel around it or
Get
something.
yeah, get something to.
Maybe to
Go and
something.
get something at the cupboard. Upstairs.
So, do you feel a bit more? Because I know you were concerned about the fact that you were having chemotherapy rather than immuno.
Yeah.
Well,
You hear so many, I won't call them bad reports, but you hear so many things from people being made ill through chemotherapy.
Yeah.
But as they say, everybody isn't affected with everything there, you just maybe get the odd bit. Mostly, everything goes okay. And,
Apparently, one of the things to do is to drink a lot of fluids.
yeah, I've got to have at least 2 or 3 litres of fluids a day.
Yeah, it's to flush it through, because once
Yeah.
it's in you, you've then got to get it out.
Yeah, and I can't have anything cold straight out of the fridge.
No.
I
What,
mentioned that today. She
To
said,
eat or drink.
to eat, I can't have anything cold to eat or drink
Oh, really?
out of the fridge. Yeah, thank you. But what I did ask today, I
Right,
mentioned
okay.
this
In the
to
fridge.
the lady that was doing it, and I says, how about this? I says, when it's cold. She says, oh, you can't eat it straight out of the fridge. So I says, what is it? And you're saying I can eat it at room temperature and above.
Right, okay.
It's one of the side. In fact, we need to give you the leaflet to read. One of the side effects of this chemotherapy is that it can cause throat spasm, which isn't actually life-threatening, but it makes you panic
Yeah, yeah.
because it
Yeah.
restricts your
Yeah.
breathing and you start to panic.
And
You've got
I
other
mentioned,
issues as well, it can trigger.
I said to her, I said, I have a concern. I says, it's because I've got COPD.
Yeah.
And I said, you have a concern if my breathing's going to be affected. Don't worry. Everything. It don't matter what it is. The slightest little thing
Yeah,
attracts our attention and we see to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And just like Lisa said yesterday, slightest little thing, don't matter what it is, ring up. Doesn't matter if there's nothing wrong. They will tell you and reassure you.
If I'm sat here and I've gone blue, that's a sign.
But I'm really not messing about with medication anymore.
Yeah.
I'm really. I had enough the other night when we come downstairs. So I said, she says, that's it. No more messing about. You know, you're thinking, oh yeah, it's all right, I can tolerate this. It's not so much.
It's not about that. I said that right from the
I
offset.
know, but you know yourself, you put up with things sometimes when you don't need to. We all do it. We're all tired with the same brush in that respect.
There's things to put up with and there's things not to.
I know.
You know, like when I had a fractured sternum,
Yeah.
that kind of pain is telling you to not move.
Yeah.
That's the one you should actually suffer
Yeah.
because it's keeping you still so you heal quicker.
Mm.
Something like this is something completely different because this isn't about an injury, this is about a disease. So this is the time you do manage it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would take it to feel better. You know, and I've realised that there's a difference between stuff that's stopping you moving for the healing
reason.
Yeah.
for that reason.
Yeah.
And then there's other stuff that you need to do it so that you can actually function and take the stress out of your
Yeah.
system.
But you needn't
Yeah, so-
worry. I should be taking plenty of medication, starting from now on. So I will get as comfortable as possible.
Good, yeah.
And then of course, we have to record the temperatures. Did he say that little diary thing we have to make?
Well, he's photocopied them for us. I'll print
They're in
them
the
out.
kitchen.
Because
They're in the
there is
kitchen.
one started off in the
You started
kitchen.
one, you probably saw
I
it.
still get, what shall we say, not confused. I'm still struggling with this 0 to 10 carry on.
Yeah, yeah. And knowing how to define it, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
knowing how to define the pain.
So in actual fact, I think it did say somewhere on that thing that if you can't do the numbers, you can either. It's low, it's medium, it's high. So we can go from there.
Because they just need a benchmark to know whether
Yeah,
the drugs are working
they
or
do,
not.
yeah.
So
Could
if
you
the
see-
pain's high and the drugs bring you down
Yeah.
to a medium, they know it's working in part, but maybe a bit more could bring it
See,
down.
I was gone on the premise that it's all right doing this, but everybody has different threshold.
They
pain
do.
threshold.
But it's
It doesn't run on
So I've
that
explained it. It's not about other people. It's all about compared to you.
compared to
Yeah.
you, yeah.
It's not
it's about
compared to
your own
anybody else.
ability to
Yeah.
manage
Yeah.
pain, nothing to do with anybody else.
Yeah.
And you know, just a way of thinking about that, considering you said low, medium, and high, so sort of like 0 and 1 would be low, 5 would be medium, 10 would be high.
Oh yeah, this is we've been working this out.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and then if you're in between that, you might be a 7 or an 8,
Oh,
or
yeah.
a 3 or a 4.
Mm.
You know. So
Well-
yeah, I think it's a good idea to break it down
Do
like
it.
you've done,
It's
low,
a
medium,
10.
high, and then think,
Yeah.
oh, is it above the
Yeah.
medium of
Yeah,
just
once you
below?
try
Well,
one
Lisa
and
said
10.
yesterday, she says if you do that and your temperatures, then when she's going to ring up on Monday and she's going to see whether I need a stronger dose of this Zomorph, this morphine medicine capsules,
Yeah.
which instead of taking stuff 4 times a day, I'm taking 2 twice a day.
Yeah.
And I can more or less take the Oromorph as I need it.
Yeah.
So you have got to reduce your medication as you wanted anyway, haven't you? You got it 2 twice a day now. So you're now taking
Oh,
meds.
it's a bugger, isn't it?
2 strong ones.
You should be happy now.
Yeah, well, it's easy to remember 7 in the morning and 7 at night,
Yeah.
then work it 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was working it with the other stuff. You spend 4 times a day, 6 hours at a time. Well, nobody's going to work that one out.
No.
So working it on a 5-hour one, which works out 7 in the morning till about 12, 12 till about 5, and 5 till 10 bedtime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that worked out wasn't too bad.
That
Wait.
worked out.
You'll be pleased to hear, in other news, I've managed to transfer literally everything
Oh,
onto the new phone, including
The
the
notes thing.
notes.
Thank
Yeah,
God for that.
I found where you stored it, and I couldn't actually transfer the notes direct because you stored it in an Android app. But what I have done is I cut paste it and emailed it to yourself, and
Brilliant, we
then
can
copied
paste
it
it.
and
Brilliant,
I've
you've done it.
moved it. Yeah, so I've
Mm.
created it,
Brilliant.
and I'll show you how I've set this up off camera. But I'll show you how I've set this up in a minute, because I think the way I've got this set up, I think it'll be easier for you. Full stop.
Oh,
You
that's good.
I've tried to set it up so that it makes life easier for
Yeah.
you.
that's good.
But obviously you'll have to decide whether that is actually easier.
Oh
for you.
yeah, well, just we'll have to work on it, won't we?
Yeah.
But no, I would say it was just upsetting that phone was maybe starting to go home.
But it's
Because
been,
they don't have a long lifespan, do they?
it's done all right.
It's done all right, yeah.
Is
You
it
know.
3 years, 4 years?
Well, he's 83 now, nearly 84,
Oh,
so
80,
nearly
yeah.
4
It
years.
was, it was for my 80th
Ah,
birthday.
right, yeah. Yeah.
So I hadn't realised it was that long. You
No,
know what I mean?
no,
It's
no.
it's kind of. It doesn't seem like it was 3-4
doesn't,
years ago
no,
we
it
were shopping
doesn't.
for the damn things
No,
in
it doesn't.
Halifax, which is kind of bizarre.
So we're still with Huawei, are we?
Who are we? Who are we?
Huawei, yeah.
Who are we?
And you managed to transfer my cards across. I found a box. I knew I had the box somewhere with a pin in it.
Right.
So
yeah, but
what you want to do with the old phone, it's up to you.
Like this with a fancy skirt on.
Yeah.
you just hang on to it for the time being. How are you feeling in yourself? How's this? Because you've had this kind of rapid,
Yeah. I'm feeling all right at the
decline,
moment.
really, haven't you?
I've been walking a bit better today.
Mm,
I know I took that walker,
Yeah.
and it was a good job I did because it is a long walk.
it is.
But after yesterday, I'm 150% better than yesterday as far as walking.
Yes. Yes.
Because I got up this morning, I was struggling. Jeanette helped me in the shower. Then I came downstairs. And I don't know, I think I was doing something in the kitchen. I just set off and walked and no problem. I don't know what happened. And it's still there, still letting me know.
Mm.
But walking seemed to get a bit easier.
Not
And of course, using that walker frame, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, what my hope is that going forward, because it's like that. I'm hoping the chemotherapy probably is going to make you ill at some point, but the first
Oh,
one
yeah.
or two, you probably
Yeah.
not so much. I think as you get more into it, it
Yeah,
seems to
more
have a.
time.
Maybe so, but you just don't know.
But what I'm hoping is, I'm hoping that for me and probably you too, I'm hoping that the chemo has an effect on the things that are causing you pain at the
Oh,
moment
yeah.
before you feel ill, because
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Before
Yeah, I
you
know what
start
you're
to feel
saying,
crap
yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The way
'Cause-
gets a grip of it before it gets a grip of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and just so that it doesn't throw your mood out of whack, you
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
before you start to
I
feel a
have-
bit better because of
yeah.
the, you know,
Like you at the
yeah.
moment,
Yeah.
and always at the moment, I have my ups and downs.
Yeah,
I have my little emotional times, and then I have my bloody bastard what's it times, you
Yeah.
know. And it's affecting us all.
Mm.
I feel, because we are together, You're in an empty place, you've only got yourself. You haven't got nobody at home to talk to.
I've got some good support.
And those you've got some good support, that's the main.
You know that when I posted that video on Facebook,
Yeah.
there was an absolute flood,
Yeah.
basically, because there was all the people who actually commented and stuff on the video itself, you know, on Facebook, and then I just got an absolute influx of private messages from friends and stuff saying, "Oh God, I'm really sorry, you know, that you're
Yeah,
all
when
going
you
through
did the
that."
videos, did you show any of my face at all?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
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 I mean, I've not hidden anything, and
Oh, that's good, yeah.
there is a warning. On the ones, because I've done 6 or 7 so far.
Yeah.
And you know, I've started using the first one had a different screen, a different intro, but from this point onwards, I have put on all of them. You may find some of this a bit uncomfortable because they're quite emotional at times,
Yeah.
and B, there's obviously what you're
Well, it
actually
is, and it could be emotional
experiencing.
to people that's had problems with this problem in their family, sort of thing. Yeah. Oh no.
You know, I think the next one. I've got the one where we were sat around chatting like this before. I think that's the next one to upload. And then I've got the 2 where I cut your hair as well. There's those 2.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously the ones about with the mask itself. I haven't done anything,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, after the radiotherapy. And then there was a bit of a pause because you went through a period of seeming to be a lot
I know,
better.
things, for
Yeah.
a couple of weeks, things seem to be doing all right.
Well, if you remember,
Yeah.
I started cutting down on the medication,
yeah,
but then it started kicking me back.
yeah.
So I built back up to the medication.
Yeah.
So now I'm on the medication for the duration.
Yeah.
That's it, no messing about in future if I feel better. Yeah. It's,
Yeah. As
well,
I
if you
said,
still take it.
it's geared
Because
to
the
sort of
fear
reduce
is still
stress.
there
Yeah.
of addiction.
Yeah.
You can't help it.
No, I know.
It's our era, isn't it?
It's-
No, it
Still
isn't
get-
our era.
It's
It
anyway.
is. We can
The-
still get
there's
addicted.
so many people who are addicted on opioids and painkillers. It's unbelievable.
All ages, yeah, it is.
All ages.
There are.
And they're not all
I'm
junkies,
not
it's just
saying that-
through taking these things to become addicted.
I just think at 83, Dad.
Why should I worry?
Yes. You know, at the end of the day, you never bothered about alcohol, did you? You never bothered about. You never bothered about cigarettes. So
Drink
why
till
would you
you
be?
I know,
worried?
yeah. I know, it's just going through another bloody stage in your life,
And
isn't
they
it?
didn't do you any good. This is doing you some good.
This is doing us
Yeah.
good. This is
Yeah.
easing your
Yeah.
psychological stress,
Yes. Yeah,
and
it
then
is,
also helping, which by default is actually helping your immune system.
I'm glad you're getting rid of that thought. I'm
You are.
thinking, no.
Well,
So
I
did-
think the other night was a landmark, wasn't it? Because
Yeah,
it was
it was.
one of those moments where you think, God, where does life go from here? Really, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
one of those.
and that was a changer.
It was. It was.
Because I came downstairs to get some morphine. I forgot to take it to bed. And I must have been grunting coming downstairs because your neck came out.
Every step.
And then your mum came downstairs.
Yeah.
And I just said, well, that's it.
You were beside yourself, and you were in so much pain, and you didn't know what to do with yourself, and it was so obvious. It was really upsetting.
So that's when I said, well, that's it, regardless now. It's the bloody medication, regardless,
Yeah.
until they take me off it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're going to be monitoring, taking scans
Yeah.
regularly, and
Yeah.
watching what's happening.
Yeah.
And so if it looks like things are getting better, and you don't feel like you're in pain,
No.
well then they'll tell you. So
Yeah.
then that's maybe the indication to reduce things a bit and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Take it from there. But as I said, what's the point in? This is about prolonging life and quality of
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
What's the point in prolonging life?
If you're in agony,
If you're in agony the whole time,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
why is
so-
that?
Yeah.
I'm out of agony as much as possible.
Yeah.
I mean that was what Dr. Roy's whole thing was. His
Yeah, it
commitment
was.
to was
Yeah.
to
Oh, it's like that fella at York.
prolonging your
To proctor.
quality of life.
Yeah.
Yeah, what painkiller and told him. And he said, oh, you want some of the Solpadol and you must take it.
Yeah. Yeah. He did. Didn't
Because I voiced it to every one of them about
he? Yeah.
this addiction thing. He says, forget that,
Yeah.
you must take it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you got it into my head now, that's it.
Yeah.
And he was reassuring. I know this was the medication that you're now stopping taking, but the Solpadol, because it's got paracetamol in, as long as you stick to the stated dose and don't go over it, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's if you start going over it,
This
you
is
end
it.
up with problems with the paracetamol.
Mm.
So, he was
Yeah.
very clear about
Yeah,
that. That
this
no,
is
you must
where
take it, but
We started
don't
logging a
overdose.
record of when I take it and what time I take it and what I've taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, and as I say, I've managed to transfer that over to the new phone, so that's all there still.
Mm.
All your whole record.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole record.
Because when you open it up to go and put something else on, it seems
It's
ages
long
when
there.
you're scrolling.
It is very long. I was trying to
Started
find
in
a way-
July,
Oh,
Well, I was trying to find a way of flipping it so it could be done in reverse order.
Oh yeah, no, I wondered if we could have separate ones for separate months, just so you can click into the right one.
Well, you
for the
could
right
do
month.
it. You could set
We
up
could
a
do
separate
that,
one
yeah.
for separate month.
Yeah.
All you need to do is create a separate note for each month,
I could
Oh,
do
and
that.
then you only have to put
Just
it
copy
in.
and paste, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
for that month.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not such a long list.
So it's not such a long
so you
list.
can
We'll
do
have a maximum of
July on their
31
own,
days.
August on their own, and September.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can
Oh.
name each one. You could name it August 20, you know,
Yeah.
and then September 20,
So when I
whatever,
go
October
into it,
20.
just tap August or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, if we can do that, it's worth a good
Oh, we
thing.
can do that. We can do one that has what is it? Whatever June to August,
Yeah.
and then September is a first separate month.
Yes.
There's no
Yeah.
need to separate all the others, but
No.
so far. But we could do June to August, and then start September as a separate month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's easy enough
It's
to
easy
sort
do.
out.
Yeah,
Well, we're sitting. Don't know about anybody else. Could I have a cup of coffee?
of course you can.
Not a strong one.
I'll turn this camera
I
off.
don't know. You're not in the hospital now. You know, there's no tea lady offering you.
Yeah,
offering
offering
you
you
no,
sandwiches,
say later,
whole
yes.
meal sandwiches.
Yeah.
It's alright for some, isn't it?
corned beef sandwich.